overview in a nutshell. Let us discuss what is the meaning or what is the description or what is the overview of each standard. PCI DSS, okay, Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. This standard covers security of the environments, infrastructures, or systems that store, process, or transmit cardholder data, account data. Okay, if they store, process, or transmit, or even impact service providers, so that also is covered under PCI DSS. If your organization can impact the security of cardholder data, then also you may come into the picture as a service provider. The scope of PCI covers environments receiving account data, cardholder data from payment application and other sources like acquirers, etc. So, in short, okay, any entity, any environment, any infrastructure that store, process, transmit cardholder data, or can impact the security of cardholder data will come under the purview or gambit of PCI DSS compliance. Second, PADSS, Payment Application Data Security Standard. As I mentioned, if an entity is developing, payment applications, then they have to follow the guidelines. They have to follow the standard. Primarily, PCI PA DSS covers secure payment applications to support the PCI compliance. Okay, any application which is handling card data and which falls under the PCI DSS compliance gambit may have to go through PA DSS. The scope of PADSS addresses when a payment application receives cardholder data or account data from card interfaces, devices such as POS or other devices, and the objective of this application is to provide or facilitate the payment transaction. Then PA might be applicable. Shortly, we might be coming up with PADSS training as well. We will try to cover more on PADSS during that training. PCI PTS POI, okay, Payment Card Industry PIN, Transaction Security Point of Interaction Standard. The PCI PTS POI standard covers device tampering detection. So the POS device, PTS POI, if there is any tampering, how to avoid tampering, what would be the guidelines for tampering detection, cryptographic process, the cardholder data capturing, cryptographic, etc., which will be happening on those devices, and other mechanisms used to protect the PIN and other sensitive data such as cryptographic keys. So this standard primarily focuses on the mechanism used to protect the PIN data and other sensitive data which are captured such as cryptographic keys. The PCI PTS PIN standard covers secure management, processing and transmission of PIN number data during the online and offline processing of payment card transactions. This standard primarily covers a PIN transaction security, as it is mentioned. PCI PTS HSM, okay, hardware security module, covers the design and hardware security modules for securely protecting those devices until they are deployed. A hardware security module generally deals with cryptographic keys and storage of cryptographic keys at various points of time. They are generally highly expensive in nature and deployed by various banks to ensure additional layer of security for storing of sensitive information. PCI P2PE, okay, PCI industry, payment card industry point-to-point encryption. The P2PE standard covers secure encryption, decryption, and key management for point-to-point encryption solutions. Requirements for a P2P solution will vary depending upon the deployment environment and technologies used for a specific implementation. Okay, and key management for point-to-point encryption solutions. So these are various standards, different standards that are outlined, that are provided by PCI Council. As I mentioned, we will be studying PCI DSS in more details, and as and when required, we'll try to cover other standards in upcoming sessions. PCI DSS and PADSS standard. This is a 3-year life cycle. Okay, any standard, PCI DSS standard, generally follows this 3-year life cycle. Once the council generally the council publishes the new standard in November. In the month of November, the standard is published. Okay. However, the effective date for the standard would be 1st January. So that's when a new standard, although it is published in September, October, or November, the effectiveness or the enforcement comes from 1st of January. There is market implementation, there is adaptation, there is optimization, all across industry throughout the year, the first year. Okay, but people or the industries have the option to follow the previous standard, old standard, while this new standard is being adopted in the first year. Okay, so first year, whenever a new standard is published, it is not mandatory to follow the new standard. Organized or companies can still follow the old standard for at least 1 year while trying to adopt the new standard. Then there is market implementation, as I mentioned, and feedback. Okay, after 1 year of the standard, the feedback generally happens in the last quarter. Throughout the 31st December, the old standard that is generally retired because 1 year is provided as a pilot testing for any of this adaptation, either the old standard or the new standard. But 31st December, the old standard will definitely expire, and you will have to adopt to the new standard. Feedback review, the feedback which happened in November of first year, okay, during the last quarter, the feedback will happen during April and August of the next year, so as to provide a meaningful outcome as to what will be implemented, what will be a kind of optimization, and what will be incorporated in the upcoming standards. The third year, the draft revision for the new standard will start during November and April. Various QSS companies, participating organizations, and companies will try to participate in the draft which is provided. For your information, as QRC, we also have received many kind of inputs, drafts from the council, and we also provide our inputs to the council for the draft. Once that draft is approved by the council, May, June, and July would be the final review that is being done for each and every new standard. I believe this is the period when PCI Council is now reviewing the final version 4, which is going to be implemented very soon, going to become up, in coming few weeks and months. And the reiteration, come November, I believe PCI DSS 4 would be out, which you can follow either initially, or you have the option of following 3.2.1 for next year at least. So in short, there is a 36-month life cycle, which is generally followed by PCI DSS, unless there is emergencies, standard which needs to be deployed. Council this follows these guidelines, and this cycle for 3 years change.